Welcome to another edition of the Nerds Delight podcast. We're your host today, JayRow.
And Crump Casso.
Welcome. We got a newcomer in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Gentlemen and ladies, or whoever else is out there, my name is Marcus. I'll be joining today.
Welcome. We're glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the Black Panther's portrayal in the MCU universe. Because the newcomer is here, Marcus, I want to let him start. How do you feel overall about the portrayal of Black Panther in the MCU?
It's not as bad as Thor and Thor 2, but for somebody supposed to be the king of Wakanda, for somebody that's supposed to be, T'Challa, somebody supposed to be, I think, the wealthiest person on Earth, right? Like he's, he's the wealthiest person on Earth, and easily, supposedly, allegedly, they have the most advanced technology as well.
Yeah.
I didn't see that in the movie. I didn't see that in the fight against Thanos. I didn't see that in the fight against his army either. I didn't see that when Thanos finally came and he smacked him one time on the ground. And that was it. Like that was the end of that for you.
It's like, how can everyone else have a solid showing against Thanos? But then Black Panther, who's stronger than Captain America, stronger than Iron Man, stronger than Black Widow, stronger than Hawkeye, he just gets hit one time, and that's the rest of them at the end for the whole movie.
Yeah, I never thought about it either till I really pointed it out, but I mean, you're right. Like it really was. Like I feel like in the previous movies, they kind of gave me like a little more shine, like in Civil War, like when he went toe to toe with like Captain America or whatever. But when it came to Thanos, though, it was like I don't know what happened. Like I don't know what happened.
And we know that Thanos is stronger than Black Panther, but the thing is, we're talking about everyone's specific showing against Thanos, but this one particular character, the Black Panther, who is supposed to be like what Marcus said earlier, he's got all the technology. He has the most advanced suit. He has super strength, agility, all these other gifts, and then all of a sudden, like just a slap, right, just knocks him out the battle, and you see Captain America holding Thanos' hands, like he's like, you're not gonna go any further. You're not gonna go any further. And then this is like for a good minute. He's holding him, pushing him away, and then Thanos just. I'm like, my God, like, can Black Panther have a showing like that? Can he have a showing like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think something, when I think about it as well, something I thought was pretty weird about that whole sequence is once he gets smacked, the next time we see him, he's fading to ashes. That's the end of his chapter.
It's sad, man. It's like, come on, you're like, can we get great representation? It's not about a black or white thing. It's just like the character is a really cool character. He's got a lot of cool like backstories, and he has one of the coolest suits in comic history. Yeah. It's like so advanced. Can you just give the character a little respect?
One of the things I really liked about what they did do correctly, I thought was interesting. How many Marvel films came out in the MCU before Avengers Endgame? No, I'm sorry, Infinity War. How many movies did we have, right? Thor had 3, Iron Man had 3, that's at least 6. Captain America had at least 2.
Yeah.
That's 8. So it took at least, gosh, there's some more I'm missing along the way, I'm sure. But we had at least
Spider-Man,
10 films.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Spider-Man. Yeah, so we had at least 10 films between when we first saw Tony Stark building that scrap of metal in the nowhere up until we finally got like the I can't think of the name of it right now. The nano suit, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had all those films. Well, in Black Panther, he went from essentially what Tony had in the first film to getting his own little nano suit or whatever he had, like before in the first part of his own one and only movie.
Yeah.
So the technology was there, but it's just didn't see anything nice. They didn't let him shine, man. They didn't let him shine in his own movie at that.
It was so crazy, and when Jordan brought up about Civil War when he first was introduced into the MCU, Like he had a cool showing. Like he was able to keep pace with cars going down the tunnel.
Highway, tunnel,
Yeah, the
yeah.
highway, yeah. And then like he was able to keep up with all that stuff. And then like the martial arts was incredible. Like he was able to keep pace with Bucky as well as Captain America. And then when Bucky was triggered by the code word, he was able to hold off an assassin with ease. He didn't have trouble with Winter Soldier. He was beating him easily. And the thing what is alarming is the fact that how can he be holding off Captain America and Winter Soldier, but then who Captain America was holding for dear life, saying, "You're not gonna snap your fingers. You're not gonna snap. You're not gonna erase half. You're not gonna achieve your goal." And he gets slapped by Thanos. And I mean, I'm sorry to keep repeating it, but it kind of mutes what Black Panther did in the previous movies.
Yeah, and one of the things I was thinking about when you were saying that as well is they made him out to be this morally righteous guy. Like his sense of morality is his strength. Never mind the trillions of dollars that he probably has or whatever. Like just his morality is his strength. One of the things that bothers me about that is, Chadwick Boseman did a phenomenal job of portraying that character. He did a great job. But how many Batman movies? First of all, never mind how many Batman movies. How many different Batman have you all seen over the decades?
Like 7 or 8.
Yeah, at least 6, 7 or 8. Yeah.
What about Superman?
Maybe a little lower, maybe 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4, yeah.
So we just get one T'Challa, that's it? They're talking about not recasting the guys. Like, we just get one, that's it? You had your one chance. You exceeded the quota.
I'm glad you brought that up, too. I'm glad you brought that up because that is like an issue. Like, I understand what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to, like, give other people the spotlight. But my thing with that is, like, there's still so much story to be told from this one particular character. T'Challa has a lot of story to be told. Yes, we do know that Shuri becomes Black Panther in the comics. We know that. We know that other characters have worn the mantle of the Black Panther. But the thing about it is, T'Challa's story isn't done.
Yeah.
It's not done. Like, and for Disney to say they're not going to recast that role, I think it's a slight because it's just too much. It's too much story to be told. Like, and as I recall, even though he's not a big name character, James Rose was recasted.
Yeah.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard,
yeah, he was recasted.
Right. Yeah.
Don Cheadle took that role over, and he's killed it. But my thing is, like, you can recast a role. Like, it is not a death knell. Like, my thing is, no one knows honestly what Chadwick Boseman would say if he was alive today and he couldn't do the role. We know no one knows what he's gonna say. But I'm pretty sure he'll be like, the show must still go on because he came from theater. So
his brother actually said they would want him to recast.
Really?
Yeah, his brother said that in a some article. I should have probably had it ready so you all could see that too. But his brother said that he would want that character recast. Because I think the interesting thing is Disney was able to recognize the cultural impact that Black Panther had. I mean, it was just one film, but it set records. In terms of the fastest grossing Marvel film at that time, anyway. One of the things I think they're saying to me is when I see that, and they're not willing to recast that character, they're saying, and this may not be their intention, but I mean, if I'm a young kid or a 30-something-year-old man like I am now, I'm thinking Marvel is saying that T'Challa's story and the rest of Wakanda's stories aren't worth being told. But more specifically, T'Challa's story is not worth being told. Maybe Wakanda, sure, because they're going to continue with other movies. But as Jerome, as you point out, is a richer storyline than what we've seen so far. And I think they're doing him disservice, and they're doing a disservice to the millions of people who tuned in just to watch, Black Panther. They're doing us all a disservice by not continuing his storyline.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't want to cut you off, Jordan.
No, you good. I was saying that's a good point. One thing I was gonna say was I know there are a lot of fans. I think the issue is that they're too scared to upset fans who aren't, and I don't want to say real fans because that sounds like an insult, but the people who just kind of ride on like the movie wave, and people who aren't really like fans of like necessarily Black Panther. So like people like, and I don't want to generalize, but I guess like maybe kids and maybe people who normally don't watch superhero movies. Like I want to say women. Like that's like I know tons of women who love Marvel. So that's kind of a generic statement, but you know what I mean? Like people who aren't maybe like diehard fans of the Black Panther and they only know Chadwick.
You mean a
right,
casual fan,
right? And they only know Chadwick, so maybe they might feel some type of way if they recast them. I guess maybe Disney's just scared to take that chance. But to y'all point, I feel like he probably should be recasted.
And Marcus, you said something really major there about the fact that little kids need someone to look up to, and especially little Black kids. Like, there's not a lot of representation in the movie theaters with Black superheroes outside of when Blade was big in the late 90s.
And the kids nowadays don't know who that is. You don't see Blade.
Exactly.
And the way they close that trilogy, when they close out that trilogy, it's best that they don't see the rest of the movie.
Let's leave Blade Trinity alone now, because I mean, I didn't hate the movie, but it wasn't as strong as the first two. Not at all. But like, to see, for little kids to be able to go and see a superhero that looks like them, that can relate to them, to see a nation of people like them, that's major. Like, you don't see that every time when you go to a theater. You don't see that. You see little specks of relation in certain things, but not in everything. In Black Panther, that was like, you can relate with almost a lot of the stuff in that movie. And another thing that is going to be missed in that, and with this portrayal, is the fact that this was a great opportunity to introduce Storm in the movie, because Storm in the movie, she was Black Panther's wife.
And see, like, for the casual fan, and just to touch on what our guy was saying earlier, there are people who are casual fans that may not know the entirety of his storyline. But the beautiful thing about, I think, the Black Panther movie, the first one, is that there were plenty of casual fans that didn't know it before they ever showed it. But they became huge fans afterwards. And I know many people delved into his storyline. My wife, looked at his storyline. She wasn't familiar with it. And we're here in the so-called Wakanda, right? We're in Atlanta. But she didn't know that. And so she read more about it, and I read more about it, and we became even bigger fans than we were before. And, I want to be clear about something. I think what Marvel has done with the MCU, I think they're from the bottom of my heart, because I grew up watching this stuff. And so I really appreciate what they've done as far as bringing this to life. I think Ryan Coogler, I don't see anybody else that could have done what he did. I don't know if anybody else could have done what he did with this storyline. And I think that, to that point, I think I don't want to bash these guys, because they're great directors. But the Russo brothers have no business really telling T'Challa's story. And they haven't, for the most part. They haven't. But if you look at Captain America Civil War, to some extent, they had to tell a part of the story.
Yeah.
And when you left that in their hands, you didn't really get much.
I see what you're saying, because it was a great opportunity to, like, fully showcase that rich history, but it was left in the hands of a side story. It wasn't. And Jordan, welcome back. We were talking about how in Civil War, T'Challa's story, his introduction to the MCU was taken from Ryan Coogler to the Russo brothers, because the Russo brothers was doing the Civil War story for Captain America. And it wasn't, I mean, it was a part of the story, but it wasn't a big part, and it was missed opportunities that could have been showcased.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I don't want to bash those guys. I don't want to bash the Russo brothers, but expecting the Russo brothers to be able to tell T'Challa's story, I think, unfortunately, is asking too much of them. I think that's just not what they do. Whether it's Endgame, whether it's Civil War, they didn't really show what he can do. They just introduced a guy. Hey, here's Black Panther. All right, now let's look at Tony. Let's look at Steve Rogers now. Let's look at these other guys. Oh yeah, there's Black Panther over there too somewhere. But hey, let's look at these other guys here. Right? Like come on, he's not. He should be an afterthought. He's a big damn deal. Am I allowed to say that? Can I say damn deal?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get you, man. For me, it comes to a point where we want to be open to anything that can tell a great story. But I think when you limit yourself because you have good intentions, but it may not be the best intention. Excuse me, it may not be the best decision.
Mhm.
Like you could set yourself your franchise up for failure. And I mean, I think all of us on this call, on this call, are looking forward to seeing Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The thing about it is, will it live up to the expectation? Will it live up to the hype that that the first one did, and that Chadwick like set the bar in?
Man, at this point, given all the stories that have come out of the production of the second one, I just hope everybody can pick up One Piece. Just oh my God, Siri. I don't know what to expect. I don't know, and that may be a good thing. My expectations have completely been washed away. Once we lost T'Challa, the venerable Chadwick Boseman. Once we lost him, I don't know, man. I wasn't sure what to expect going forward, and so I just wiped the slate clean of all expectations.
Yeah, I think I did too, pretty much for the most part. Like I'm going in completely open-minded and kind of hoping for the best, pretty much.
And what's so crazy too about this story? No one knows what it's about. No one knows what it's about. At least with Chadwick, we had an idea where it could go, but now we have no clue what's going to happen. Like there's been so many stories about like what Marcus said, what's been going on with behind the scenes, as well as like how the storyline has changed multiple times and different characters going in and out. We could have a return of Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger in there, and you may like that may happen, it may not happen. And then like you can see Namor, and it's like so many different things like that is circulating around, but no one really truly knows what that story is going to be about.
Yeah, and I will say so with Ryan Coogler at the helm, I have supreme confidence in that man's ability. Once he gave us Fruitvale Station and he gave us Creed, he got my loyalty going for it. Like no matter what he puts on film, I believe he's going to be great because he is showing that he's got that vision.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, he's like he's up there, man. In terms of producers, in terms of people who can tell a story and just really just like all the cultural references in Black Panther. Like he was like, "Hey, auntie." Like, I love that. Like, when his little sister was clowning him for his shoes.
Right.
One of those.
Yes, took a meme and brought that into the movie, and it was authentic. It was organic. Oh my God! Come on, man. You just not gonna get like. You look at a movie like Thor 2. It's like, God, can we just delete that part of our memories?
Thor 2, my God,
that was awful. Iron Man 2 wasn't much better.
I know Iron Man 2 and 3 weren't much better.
Yeah, and I've heard told you, Joe. I can't go back and look at the Avengers now because it's just not good.
It's an overrated. That's an episode for another day. Because oh my God, like that Avenger, that 2012 Avengers movie, that's one of the most overrated movies in the superhero history.
It's so necessary, but it's just not. It's just not as good. I can't watch. I can't go back and watch it again. I can't. It's just no. It doesn't have that infinite replayability like some movies do.
Yeah, when I went back, when I went back and watched it, I probably watched it about a few years ago. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but I was like, it's not as good as I remember it being for some reason. I don't know why, but it's not as good as I feel like it was at the time. I don't know. Maybe it didn't age well. I don't really know, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but I think that's testament to a movie like Black Panther and again, just I guess at this point, just giving Ryan Coogler his props and all the other great actors too, and actresses as well, because they all did their jobs really well.
Absolutely.
But when I watched that film, like, all right, also, I don't know if I told you this. Sometimes I watch a film, I watch it like all the way through the first time, and then I do it again another time, not like back to back, but I'll do it again. And so I have about maybe 3 or 4 viewings of the film from start to finish. If it's a really good one, I'll do it multiple times.
Yeah.
But then, after I've done that, I'll just pick a random spot in the movie and I'll just play it all the way through. So it could be like the halfway point. It could be like the 3/4 mark. I'll just play it all the way through, just because I feel like a great film you can just pick up at any point and you just watch it. And so I'll do that. And so Black Panther is one of those films I can do that with all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really a great story.
It is.
I just appreciate the fact that it had a great story, as well as that it really created a movement. It really showcased Black culture in a positive light.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I know earlier, I'm not contradicting myself. I know earlier I said that he was like this he had this moral righteousness about him, T'Challa's character. But the way they use the film to tell, I think, the story of if you have the haves and the have-nots in a sense, if you can help somebody, don't you have an obligation to do what you can for those people to liberate them in some respects? The way they framed that story, the way they framed it, but they use the whole film as a metaphor. Oh my God, man! Right, Ryan Coogler is we can't lose that man. We can't lose him. We need him.
You can't. You can't.
I don't know who's in the writer's room with him when that happened, but the way he told that story, the way they crafted, there were no insignificant details about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Man, it's just I need these guys to just stick together for a few more films.
Yeah. And hopefully they can find a way, and I hope Disney changes their mind about recasting that role, because it can it'll just open the doors so much more.
Yeah. You remember when we first started talking about it, Joe? If you remember, now that I did contradict myself in this one, when we first got news that we lost Chadwick Boseman, you said they need to recast the role. You said it's within 48 hours of learning of his passing.
I did. Seriously, I did, Jordan. I did.
He did. I was like, damn, Joe, his body's not even cold yet. You already said recast the character.
It wasn't an act of malice or negative. It was genuinely the story should still be told. Right. And I feel like he would want that.
Yeah.
You don't hold up a project for him. He's gonna all I said was recast the role, put the rest of the franchise in his honor. Then you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, at first I said they shouldn't. All right, I said they shouldn't recast the character.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and I realized the message that I would be sending, even if it's not intentional. I thought about the message that I would be sending by not recasting that character, which is, again, saying there could only be only one guy was ever good enough to put on to play that role. Yeah. Nobody else is going to be good enough. And I realized also I'm saying that I don't want to see a continuation of this story. I don't want it to be told anymore.
Right.
Even though that's not what I want, but that's what I was saying.
Right.
And also, there's this term, I think it's called the exceptional Negro. And I realized, I forget exactly where I read this. This is the term came back, it dates decades ago, but I read that in the book. I don't know if it was, I'm not drawing a blank, I can't remember. It was some great Black literary figure that said it. But I remember once for some reason I came across that term again, and I thought, wow, am I saying that Chadwick Boseman is that guy? Am I saying that there can only be one guy, only one of us is good enough to play that role ever? I don't mean that, but that's kind of what I'm saying too. So I'm shutting the doors on many, many other Black male actors that could put on those shoes and wear them quite well.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. I like that. It's a really good point.
Is there anything else that we want to add for this episode before we sign off about this?
Just recast the character while also acknowledging the fact that Chadwick Boseman didn't work this hard for that character to die with him.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to believe he would do that. I'm thinking about the movie 21 Bridges, 22 Bridges, when he gave up part of his own salary just so that his female co-star could have more money.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, he did. That was the kind of selflessness he had. And I think it's 21 Bridges and 22
21
Bridges.
It's 21
21,
Bridges. It
21,
was
yeah,
21
21.
Bridges. Yeah, he paid. Yeah, he did that in 21
Yeah.
Bridges.
Which is a good movie, by the way. I like that movie. Real good
Same
It's a
movie.
good
here.
movie.
It's really
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he did. That was an awesome story when I read it too, Marcus. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that just shows you that his heart is always about like helping people,
Right.
and also about wanting to have a brilliant project that can impact lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that just knowing that that's where his heart is, that's that's where his spirit was. I think that they would be doing a huge disservice to who he was, both in rhetoric and in action, by not recasting that character.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, thank you all for joining us for another edition of the Nerds Light podcast. Please like and subscribe to this channel and to this video. And thank you again for listening. We're signing out. Peace.